Welcome to the 2023 Seuss CP Conference, the Edge of Opportunity podcast from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. The Southeastern United States Canadian Provinces, or Seuss CP Alliance, was established in 2007 to formally advance a common interest in enhancing economic ties between the two regions. The Alliance is a strategic trade and investment-focused partnership between 6 southeastern U.S. states and 6 Canadian provinces. This year's conference is focused on opportunities in the blue and green economies.
And welcome to the Seuss CP 2023 podcast. I'm Alan Dale. This is my good buddy Jerry Carew. We are Gale Force Winds. And I tell you, the whole conference has really been around collaboration between these Canadian provinces and our friends and neighbors to the south. With us right now, we have a representative from New Brunswick. So Steve, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thanks, gentlemen. My name is Steve Milbury. I'm the Vice President of Business Development with Opportunities New Brunswick. We're a Crown corporation that was set up back in 2015 by the government of New Brunswick of the day. Our primary focus is to go out and sell New Brunswick.
And it got to be an easy sell because New Brunswick's a wonderful place to be. Economically, New Brunswick open for business, yeah?
Absolutely. The great thing about New Brunswick is, much like Atlantic Canada, over the last number of years, we've seen a population increase, which has been fantastic. All that to say, we've also really honed in on where we want to be, what we want to do, and the markets that we want to focus on. So it's been exciting times in the last couple of years.
Tell us about some of those markets and some of those pillars that you're focusing on.
Absolutely. So one of the key areas that we're really honing in on are 3 emerging sectors that we talk about oftentimes, which is cyber. The world is faced with a number of cyber attacks everywhere, every day. We've seen incidences where cities are actually being attacked. So in the province of New Brunswick, we've really honed in and focused on developing a cyber center for critical infrastructure. So you'll see that through our University of New Brunswick, there's a real focus on developing talent there. So we've had a lot of success, and more recently we've attracted a company out of France called Thales, and they are creating their center for cybersecurity there. So that's one. The other is digital health. Digital health, obviously, through COVID, became more prevalent with a focus on how do you deliver health care to people when they can't get in physically to a location. So we've seen a lot of progress in that aspect, but also energy innovation. And part of the conference here this week, we're hearing a lot of things around sustainability, the environment, electrification, and what the long-term outcomes for that is going to look like. So we, for a long time, have been focused on energy. New Brunswick is an energy province. Today we are 83% non-emitting in terms of the energy that we're creating, and we want to continue moving that forward, so focusing on things like SMRs. We will be one of 2 provinces, or right now we are one of 2 provinces who actually do produce nuclear. We want to be innovators in that sector, so we're really moving forward there. But also at the same time too, really looking at what's the future look like. So electrification, and how do you manage that around smart grids, looking at renewables and how to use renewables in that system, and then how do you take a smart grid and make sure that you're balancing what that looks like. But at the same time too, looking at hydrogen and the future of hydrogen, what part it plays in all of this as well. So much like the rest of Atlantic Canada, we've got some energy outlooks that we're looking towards, and we're trying to match that up. 3 other things, and really quickly, I mean, New Brunswick is really good at growing potatoes. We're good at growing trees and really good at growing fish. And when you think about the supply chain that supports that industry, it's a lot of manufacturing, it's a lot of small, medium-sized businesses that are trying to grow and support that industry.
It may have, you may have opened your eyes to other parts, other equations. Was Seuss CP everything that you were hoping for?
Absolutely. So this is my second time at Seuss. Last year I was fortunate to be in Savannah. As a result of our time in Savannah and the 7 companies that we had brought with us, we had some great results. And I say we, the companies that came along with us, actually were able to lock in sales in the amounts of roughly $14 million. So wow. From those results, it's hard to argue when you bring a group of businesses from a jurisdiction like New Brunswick to a place like Savannah and Georgia, and they get to meet our partners in the U.S. And then I thought about it more, and the more I thought about it is that here we have this market, this massive $1 trillion market. They're investing in infrastructure, they're investing in technology. they've got these ecosystems that they've built around innovation, and here they are just down I-95, which is like a 12 to 24-hour drive away from New Brunswick. So in my mind, it made complete sense that we needed to spend more time in that market. So as a matter of fact, we've been spending more time in that market, and we're actually working with consultants there. We're working with the Canadian consulate there. We've met with Georgia. We've met with North Carolina. We've been back there a number of times since. So do I see value? Absolutely. And looking forward to New Brunswick actually hosting in 2025.
2025, New Brunswick's hosting. Where
Correct.
In New Brunswick?
That has not been established.
Not been established yet, okay, great. But coming to New Brunswick in 2025, that's exciting. You're so right about just down the 95, right? Our neighbors are down there. There's big markets down there. And I'm sure they're looking up at us too to say, I want to get into that market as well. So I love these conferences where it all comes together. Isn't it fantastic?
It's amazing, and it's great. We had the opportunity to have another 7 companies join us this time around, and so far so good. We've had a chance to catch up with them here and there, and they are telling me that their meetings so far have been great as well. So yeah. It's been a great experience.
I love the cyber vision that New Brunswick has. It to me is a true collaboration of government, industry, and academia all coming together to produce something in that province that Canada has never seen before in that space. So well done to New Brunswick there.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. So thank you. I mean, I've been in this business for the last 10 years, and in my travels, traveling around the world and talking to Canadian consulates and trade commissioners, one of the things that they've always said to me is you need to be focused. You can't come to a market, hence can't come to the United States and spend time in Georgia if we don't know what we want to tell them and who we are. So for us, it's really about being focused. I will also say that the feds have done a good job too at directing, I would suggest, certain areas of the country towards doing what their core competencies are, and I think that we took that by heart and we're focusing, much like Nova Scotia will be focusing on oceans and
Right.
Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Not that we don't have an oceans presence, but let's not duplicate. Let's augment all the work that we're doing, and New Brunswick is focusing on some core areas where we think we can augment versus duplicate.
Steve, it's been really great to be in conversation with you. It's very clear that New Brunswick's open for business, and certainly that economic development wing that you're leading is right out front and center of it all. So congratulations for a job well done, and thanks for coming to St. John's, Newfoundland.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the 2023 SUSE CP Conference, the Edge of Opportunity podcast from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. The 2024 conference is taking place in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we look forward to seeing you there.